GRA, our taxes, our future. Soon, the Ghana card will be linked to every mobile phone SIM card and every bank account in the country. When he addressed the gathering at the Medina Institute of Science and Technology in Accra, the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, said the configuration of the Ghana card with the respective national ID cards has set Ghana on the path of irreversible positive change to transform the public sector for the needed economic growth.
The Medina Institute of Science and Technology was established in 2013 by the Medina Foundation for Science and Technology. Its prime focus is offering quality tertiary education to Ghanaians who aspire to acquire and advance their knowledge in the field of technology. The school was relaunched in 2017 after a challenging start and established affiliation with the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. The 61 graduating students in the class of 2021 are the first batch to graduate from the university since it opened its doors. The president of the institute, Professor Abdullahi Salifu Asuro, called for support from the government to the university.
To increase the level of quality in teaching and learning, we need to be equipped with more engineering equipment and laboratories. Government assistance in this direction, as they did for the technical universities, will go a long way to improve instruction and training.
Eulogizing the impact of technology in the country, the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, said the government focus is to transform the public sector through digitization for efficient public sector administration.
We have sluggish, centralized bureaucracies, rigid rules-based, hierarchical chains of command, and highly interpersonal in its delivery of public services. No matter how educated you are, no matter how much trigonometry and algebra you have learned, they will want you to accept that getting a passport or applying for a business license is so complex that you need middlemen or goro boys to help you do so. You and I must change that culture of public administration. Ghana is on an irreversible march for change. We consider digitization in all areas of public administration as an important goal to be accomplished.
Dr. Bawumia said the Ghana card will soon be linked to every mobile phone, SIM card and bank account number.
What we have been able to do by providing everybody in Ghana with a unique national ID card is to create essentially a single source of truth. And it has given us the ability to link the national ID database to other databases across the country. We are going to have every SIM card linked to the Ghana card, one's Ghana card number, and every bank account will also be linked to the Ghana card number. And all of these are going to be done shortly.
The overall Best Graduating Female Student Prize went to Safiatou Dawood. Salifu Abdul Latif Yakubu came tops as the overall Best Graduating Student of the class of the 2020 academic year.
The state says it will present 13 witnesses to lead evidence in the case in which former Director General of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT, Mr. Ernest Thompson, and 4 others are standing trial, accused of causing financial loss to the state.
When the case was called for hearing on Thursday, July 29, 2021, prosecution, led by a principal state attorney, Mr. Richard Jembibi, informed the court of their decision to amend portions of the charge sheet, but this was opposed by the defense lawyers who argued that prosecution had come informally because the plea of the accused persons had already been taken. The defense lawyers argued that prosecution could not serve the court the amended charge sheet without first filing a motion. The court, presided over by a Justice of the Court of Appeal, Justice Henry Anthony Kofi, sitting with additional responsibility as a High Court judge, directed the state to file the amendments through a motion. The former SNIT boss, Mr. Ernest Thompson, a former information technology IT manager at SNIT, Mr. John Hagan Mensah, the Chief Executive of Perfect Business Systems, PBS, Ms. Juliet Hassana Kramer, a former head of Management Information Systems, MIS, at SNIT, Mr. Caleb Kweku Afaglu, and a lawyer for SNIT, Mr. Peter Haibo, are facing a total of 29 charges, including willfully causing financial loss to the state, conspiracy to cause financial loss to the state, defrauding by false pretense, and contravention of the Public Procurement Authority Act, and authoring of forged documents. The accused persons have pleaded not guilty to the charges. In June 2010, SNIT started a $34 million OBS project to use information and communications technology ICT to revamp its operations to enable it to provide a state-of-the-art pension administration system in the country. It is the case of the prosecution that between September 2013 and September 2016, the 5 accused persons engaged in various illegalities that caused financial loss to the state in relation to the said project. The contract sum, according to facts in court, also bloated from $34 million to over $66 million, even though the OBS system failed to perform efficiently as the project contract had envisaged.
The Commercial Division of the Accra High Court has ruled that the chances of success in an application filed by former Chief Executive Officer of the defunct Capital Bank, Mr. William Atoforson, challenging the dismissal of his submission of no case to answer is very bleak. The court, presided over by a Justice of the Court of Appeal, sitting with additional responsibility as a High Court judge, Justice Eric Chebafwo, declined an application for stay of proceedings filed by Mr. Atuesian in a case in which he, together with 2 others, are to answer some 23 charges.
Moving the motion in court, Mr. Bafo Gaubun Suashia, on behalf of the applicant, argued that at the end of prosecution's case, his client, Mr. William Atuesian, filed a submission of no case on June 9, 2021, but it was dismissed on July 8 on the grounds that the prosecution had led sufficient evidence, for which the court invited Mr. Asian and the 2 other accused persons to open their defense. To this, he said, Mr. Asian filed an appeal on July 22nd, which raises serious and fundamental issues involving the court's ruling. He contends that exceptional circumstances exist which present a viable chance of success for Mr. Asian's appeal. He also argued that the liberty of the accused person is at stake if the trial is allowed to proceed without the determination of the appeal. A Chief State Attorney, Mrs. Marina Apia Opare, opposed the application on grounds that the appeal has no chance of success. The applicant had not demonstrated exceptional circumstances or special grounds to merit a stay of proceedings, and also that should the application be allowed, it will delay the trial. Mrs. Apia Opare argued that the dependency of the appeal is no grounds for grant of stay of proceedings. Ruling on the application, the trial judge, a Court of Appeal judge, Justice Eric Chebafwo, with additional responsibility as a High Court judge, said the state, after calling 17 witnesses, had succeeded in establishing a prima facie case against Mr. Atuesian and 2 others to answer some 23 charges. However, the former chief executive of the defunct Capital Bank, Mr. William Atuesian, through his lawyers, filed a stay of proceedings pending the determination of an appeal at the Court of Appeal. The High Court refused the application on Thursday, July 29, 2021, explaining that there was no justification or compelling reason to grant the application and that the rights of the applicant had not been infringed in any way. The case has been adjourned to October 14, 2021 for Mr. Atuesian to open his defense.
Post-harvest losses account for nearly half the quantity of food produced in Ghana. Stakeholders believe the phenomenon of post-harvest losses is a major cause of hunger across the African continent, including Ghana. As part of efforts to reduce post-harvest losses, the World Food Programme has provided selected farmers in the northern region with 140 plastic hermetic silos to store grains, improve post-harvest management, and significantly reduce food loss.
The Enhanced Nutrition and Value Chains Initiative is a 5-year integrated program that supports smallholder farmers to produce quality food. The initiative will also link farmers with agro-food processors as well as structured markets. Under this initiative, the World Food Programme is distributing 700 hermetic silos to beneficiary farmers across the 5 regions in northern Ghana. In the northern region, 140 silos with a capacity to store 500 kilograms of grain were distributed. The WFP Country Director for Ghana, Madam Rukia Yacob, was hopeful that the facility will help reduce post-harvest losses.
The provision of these silos is complementary to the Planting for Food and Jobs initiatives, which has increased food production. Right now, we are in the lean season, when numbers of rural households who rely on market purchase to meet their food needs is expected to increase as stocks from their own production gradually deplete. This increases food insecurity during this period of most of these households have limited income. Next year by this time, I look forward to a different story, as the silos should reduce food loss so that farmers can rely on their own stocks for longer periods.
The WFP Regional Director for West and Central Africa, Mr. Chris Nikoy, commended Global Affairs Canada for supporting the initiative. He noted that millions of households across the continent go hungry annually as a result of post-harvest losses. He urged smallholder farmers in northern Ghana to make good use of the facility to reduce post-harvest losses and boost food security.
I believe that Ghana has the potential to become the breadbasket for the West and Central Africa region if efforts to improve its food systems, such as some of the initiatives that WFP and government have begun, are sustained. Let me use this occasion to encourage all stakeholders in the food security and nutrition sector to increase collaboration and to build synergy for more effective delivery.
The Northern Regional Country Director, Alhaji Ishaku Al-Hassan, thanked WFP and Global Affairs Canada for the support. He tasked the beneficiaries to implement cost-efficient post-harvest technologies.
The Licensed Cocoa Buyers Association of Ghana is asking the media to be circumspect with reports on the cocoa sector. They say reports on issues must reflect the true situation. The president of the association, Mr. Samuel Anane, said its members have paid for cocoa duly received from farmers, even though there were delays in payments reaching the farmers. Meanwhile, Mr. Anane has asked all cocoa farmers who may have suffered any delays in payment to draw attention of the district officers of the LBCs concerned in the event the purchasing clerks may have received the funds.
These delays, Cocoa Board explained as resulting from the following: the negative effects of COVID-19 pandemic on international trade and the external marketing of cocoa, the closure of harbors and its consequent delay in shipments, the substantial drop in the price of cocoa beans on the international market within the year, arising from the adverse effect of COVID-19 pandemic, the closure of many airports, hotels, and confectionery outlets where chocolates and other cocoa products are highly patronized. These notwithstanding, members of LICOBAC have paid for cocoa duly received from our farmers. We, however, admit that in some instances, due to the time lag between the receipt of funds after raising or submission of invoice and onward transfer to the district and village levels, there are some delays in monies reaching farmers. For this reason, we encourage all cocoa farmers who may have in any way suffered in payment to draw the attention of district officers of the LBCs concerned for action. In case the purchasing clerk in their communities have received funds and have not paid the farmers.
You're still watching News Hour live on GBC News, your news and governance channel. The Director of International Cooperation of the Swiss Red Cross, Dr. Thomas Gardner, has inspected ongoing projects in the Upper East region funded by Swiss Red Cross. He expressed satisfaction with work done so far and expressed his outfit's commitment to supporting people living in rural communities.
The Ghana Red Cross Society has constructed over 500 two-bedroom unit houses for flood victims across the Bulsa North and the Kassina Nankana municipalities of the Upper East region. Some communities affected in the floods are Mayoro, Natugnia, Chuchiliga, Siniesi, and Bilinsa. Under the Ghana Red Cross Watch Project, construction of 21 boreholes in 6 selected districts of the Upper East region is at various stages. Over 20 disaster-prone communities in the region have also received disaster risk reduction tools to help mitigate the incidence of disasters under the Ghana Red Cross Society's Disaster Risk Reduction Project. The Director of International Cooperation of the Swiss Red Cross, Dr. Thomas Gardner, was in the Upper East region to inspect these projects. The Red Cross Society is also supporting the government's efforts at reducing maternal mortality in the region. With the Red Cross Society mother clubs dotted across the region, the women are educated on how to stay healthy before, during, and after pregnancy. At the Mayoro Chips compound in the Kassina Nankana municipality, the midwife in charge of the facility, Madame Matilda Songese, was grateful to the Ghana Red Cross Society for its assistance to the health center, especially with the provision of tricycles for use by the health workers. The Secretary General of the Ghana Red Cross Society, Mr. Kofi Addo, promised continuous support for the government's efforts at alleviating poverty in rural areas. The Director of International Cooperation of the Swiss Red Cross, Dr. Thomas Gardner, asked the beneficiaries to ensure its proper maintenance of the projects.
The Aguna West Municipal Directorate of Education has received a package to organize science, technology, engineering and mathematics, STEM, education and e-reading workshops for 70 teachers in the Aguna West Municipality in Swedro in the Central Region. The project is aimed at preparing the teachers to revolutionize the study of maths and science and promote reading habits in the area. The Aguna version of the project was launched with a number of e-learning gadgets, including computer laptops worth 50,000 Ghana cedis. Goethe Institute and Reader are collaborating with Bountiful Technologies and Bountiful STEM Educational Foundation for the project.
The project is meant to equip teachers with practical skills in handling STEM classes and to get the students to develop interest in such courses. Bountiful Technologies and Bountiful STEM Educational Foundation is promoting teaching and learning involving the use of artificial intelligence and robotics. The foundation is collaborating with the Goethe Institute and World Reader to propagate reading habits. The Deputy Minister for Education, Reverend John Intim Fojo, said government plans to develop about 20 STEM centers and 8 model senior high schools across the country. He noted that STEM education would help in transmitting the concepts to learners and widen interest in the study of science in the country.
If you look at how the world is changing and how the world is moving very fast, Every country that is minded to catch up with the competition is minded to reform the education system and to reform in a very relevant direction so that they are not left out. Ghana, we don't want to be left out. And that is why our emphasis on science, technology, engineering, mathematics education is very, very paramount.
The Executive Director of Bountiful Technologies and Bountiful STEM Educational Foundation, Mr. Seth Ago Eyim, said they are working with stakeholders to make e-training sustainable.
Research has shown that educational robotics is the best tool to relate mathematics, science, engineering, and science to the real world. So we're using that to help the teachers understand there are other resources they can use to teach and make the class exciting.
Apart from the study of maths and science, the project is also interested in promoting reading habits.
To our What's in the Name series. There are some who would cringe at the mention of some towns' names, but truth is, they actually are names of communities here in Ghana. There's a cluster of communities in the Brim North district of the Eastern region linked by 2 bridges. Their names evoke shock, surprise and laughter to many, and conservative Ghanaians may prefer that these names are not mentioned in whispers or in enclosed spaces. But here, we'll tell an interesting story about the love relationship of 3 brothers which gave birth to the names of these communities. Kote Yabwa, Etchenyim Nyansa, and Shua Yemobo.
This is Kotiabwa in the Birim North district of the New Abrim constituency. It is an area with a population size of over 100 people and the center to 25 other adjoining communities. The area here under this kola tree serves as the Deba ground for the people. Kotiabwa is about 5.5 miles from Jamesi in the eastern region. There is a cluster of communities including Shwaya Mobo and Etwenim Nyansa, according to a great-grandson of one of the early settlers of the village, Mr. Wusu Entry. His late great-grandfather, Kofi Sampon, and his late brothers, Kofi Siao, founder of Kotiabwa, and Kojo Jan, founder of Etwenim Nyansa, started life in a community called Miaweni in the Ashanti region. The 3 later moved to the eastern region and settled at present Kotiabwa because the land was fertile. Shortly after, Kofi Siao decided to marry his newfound love, even though his brothers advised him against that due to her deplorable character. He went ahead and married her and settled on the woman's family land. His wife later divorced and sacked Kofi Siao from the house and took over all his properties.
Enuano miensa ene bechichire eyesa akuri na bra ombaye no miensa nyina na ete ebum na onuano baako ede ne kobata ohu oba bi no ode ne koye den kobata no ene oja ni nuanu mienu no ewachire iti bi okoye no ono oba ne ye adwuma heavy no later no oba ne ye den epam no iti nche sa yese adwuma koye ni nyina no se ba okoye nkwasi adwuma oba ne de sebe le japade no ada bi ma no iti bra oba ne ni nuanu mo se o ye nyina na yeti ha ye adwuma kama ohun do oba no ada wa ma na wakoye nkwasi adwuma iti sade a etwe ne wonimu nyansa Unmunyansa pa. And now also several cotton so a yaboa. And when you about casa, and never mensa, and a young pong at the boy, a bataille. It is sad, yeah, Shwana so, or a mobo. Cause a jumoko in no. Cotiana Koya Boama Shwana so there, or Koya Mobokra.
The three brothers therefore chose the names for their villages along the line. According to Mr. Wusu Entry, the paramount chief of Oda, who initially thought the names were indecent, wanted to abolish them. But after the three brothers explained the rationale behind the names, the paramount chief decreed that the names be maintained.
Temodino Hono. Ohina no war a brim or that. How he know what that Esmond Penfo and me by say, I didn't know Dino at his auntie, a coy coachi Mucherno, or also so Etiasama Edino, a cajo at the business.
The people are predominantly farmers who cultivate cocoa, oranges, banana, plantain, and pepper. However, the road network is in poor shape, and the community also lacks basic social amenities. The community, which is almost 200 years old, is now connected to the national grid. So, we asked the Odikro of Kotiyabwa, Mr. Kofi Mafu, whether the interesting names of the villages might be a reason why they lag behind in terms of development. His quick rebuttal was that the people are proud of where they come from, just like any other from any part of the country.
Do you know dear, what's the science? Say, Nana Moja Padia, Moya to my catuho. What's the science? Means it's sad that. And they cry chrono, ama, and they do a chili. The crowd dear, we are there, ya dear, best self be. Me ferry capre, and then baby, I may do no. Me bosswa, ya wahwam.
Even though they till the land every day, the people in these communities say they always sell their produce at ridiculously low prices because they are unable to transport their goods due to the unmotorable roads in Kotiyabwa and Etwenim that link Chechenku. The appeal to the corridors of government is for a factory in the area in line with its 1D1F initiative. They say they too have a contribution to national development.
The energy segment comes up shortly, please.